Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. Today, a simple box. As you can see, I have quite a bit of paints and such in front of my bench, and I need a box to store it all in. I decided to go ahead and just make a quick little box. I did not speak while I made this. I just quickly made the box, but I ran the cameras, so I have enough footage here where I can talk over this and give you a little box build video. Now, the subject of this video is going to be more about mistakes I made and how I corrected them. And as they come up in the video, I'll show you what the mistake was and how I fixed it. Alright, so finishing up with layout here, I do go over and measure the cubby system next to my bench. This is where this box is going to end up living, almost like a drawer in one of those cubbies. And I wanted to make sure it would fit, obviously. So I got a proper measurement and finished with the layout. Alright, in comes my little Ryobi chop saw. This thing is actually an excellent little tool. I love it. It's nice and lightweight. I can just store it away and pick it up. Here's mistake number one. Take a look at the offcut here. As you can see, there's quite a bit of checking on that board and it fell apart. My assumption here was I could just glue that board up and use it, but that's where the joinery was going to be, and that wouldn't work. So what I did is this offcut to the left of the saw here, on my left, that will replace the board I actually cut off with the checking. So you may see the board with the checks in some of these future shots. It does get replaced by this one that has the little bark enclosure looking piece on it here. Works fine for the back of the box. No big deal. So here I'm finding a piece of the board I didn't like. So what I'm actually doing is cutting the board a bit different. I didn't cut to my line, and I cut it a little bit longer, and now I'm just bringing them both to the same length. Not really a big deal. You can see the checks on the left side of that top board. That top board will not be part of this project. Right, I did the same steps for the two longer boards. This box is going to be 18 inches by 13 inches. And I did the same here. I put the two together and cut them both to identical lengths. Okay, simple joinery time here. What I'm doing is cutting rabbets on the ends of two of the boards, the exact thickness of the boards, so that we can just make a simple butt joint going into a rabbet. Provides a little bit more glue surface, and then we will pin these with some dowels for more strength. Now this is where my major mistake happens. As I showed you, I measured the cubby hole system, and the front and back of this box will be the 13-inch side, and as you can see, I'm cutting the rabbets into the 13-inch length of board, the front. The rabbets should have been put on the sides of this board, not the front, for strength. You'd want the pins going in from the side as I pull it out of the cubby. That is a design error. The build of this box really will not be affected by that, but as I use it, I'll be pulling with the pins instead of against them, which to me, it may weaken over time, but as it is being just a piece of shop storage, I'm going to run with it. But it was a definite design flaw. Now, I could have eliminated me measuring the cubby and showed you the box as 18 inches being the front, and nobody would have been the wiser. But I like to show you my errors here, and this joinery should not have been on the front and back. It should have been on the sides. And here you can see that little board with the bark enclosure. He replaced the one with the checks. So everything I did here on the table saw was perfect. It cut nice half-inch rabbets that I'm just cleaning up here a little bit with a chisel, and then we'll glue this thing up. Okay, glue up. This glue up was hilariously comical. It was me basically wrestling a chimpanzee. Now don't get me wrong. I got the glue up to work. I had to do 3 pieces, glue it up, and then add the 4th one separately, which was frustrating. I honestly, the problem is, one, I didn't clean all the paint off the front of the bench, so it kept getting in the way of the clamps. And this bench is just too small for this glue up. As you can see, I'm wearing a sweatshirt there. It's freaking cold here. I know spring is coming, but it was in the 20s tonight. And I didn't want to go down to the basement where I have a perfect assembly table to do this kind of stuff. But it was freezing down there. So I did a goofball glue up. Mistake number 2. Now, did it work? Yes. It was just cumbersome, and I had to do it in 2 steps. Here you can see the next day I'm putting glue in the last 2 corners and putting the final board in. And it worked. Don't get me wrong. I was able to get a good solid glue up. I should have gone down to the assembly table and done it in 1 step and done it right. Just something to think about. Honestly, it's not a mistake. It worked. It's just something, you know, plan better for your clamping, I guess is what I should say. I didn't properly plan for this glue. Okay, and finally we got the last board clamped in and glued. And life is good. The box is actually nice and solid, and what we're going to do next is drill some holes and put some 5mm dowels I have. As you can see, I have a big long piece of dowel rod. It's 5mm thick. It's a piece I use to actually repair that cutty station that I'm using over there. Now, mistake number 3 is happening as I'm speaking. This wood is brittle, and I'm drilling very near the end. And in 3 different places of the 12 holes I drilled, I had some blowout where the lumber chipped out between the end of the board and the hole. Nothing drastic, very easy to repair. I chose not to repair it because it's just a box I'm going to store stuff in my shop. Obviously, the easiest way to repair that would be if you find the chip, glue it in. If you don't find the chip, it would be very easy to take a little piece of cutoff and cut a chip to fit. I'm going to do a YouTube short video on how to make that repair, and it will be up hopefully in the next week or so. Alright, after the drying, you can see we have 12 pins to flush cut. And that went fairly easy. The width of this box was perfect to fit around my vise there. That was actually easy. It made for a nice, easy holding place. And my flush cut saw, you know, there's no set on that. So those flush cut saws like to grab a little bit without any set. So, you know, it worked. It's fine. They cut nice and flush, and then the sanding mission starts. And here I am sanding them smooth. I'm not going to bore you with a lot of sanding. This was a fairly easy box to sand. Like I said, this is pine that was fairly dry. It's sanded up nicely. Next step here would be to put a bottom in this box. And I did this a little bit differently than the picture frames I did in the last couple of weeks. Same method here, router. Again, because of the weather, I'm doing this very handheld and very wobbly. I should have gone down to the basement and done this on the router table. It worked. It's not the smoothest cut in the world, but, you know, I hate to say it. This is never how I would do this for a drawer and a fine piece of furniture, but it was quick and dirty, and it got the job done. I'm now using a nickel here to mark the corners. that I'm going to round over actually here on the rigid oscillating sander. Slightly different than the picture frames where I actually cut the corners square. I'm leaving the round corners that the router made and just rounding over the back. No big deal because it's just a box to hold some paint, so that works. Alright, and after rounding the corners, this is plywood, so we can just apply a nice healthy dose of glue and glue this right in. Wood movement should not be an issue. Corners are rounded, and in goes the bottom. Clamping it in a few places where I can get clamps on it. Got some weight there. Gonna get rid of that extension cord and put a big old tub on there to just work better. And there you have it. The next morning, the bottom is nicely glued in, and I'm gonna put a finish on this thing. I am using Howard Feed and Wax for this. This is a wood polish conditioner. It has wax and orange oil in it. I kind of like it. It looks good on this pine. I did put on my absolute best costume for this. As you can see, very few YouTubers can pull this kind of an outfit on to do their woodworking. I just put this nasty shirt on to do my finishing here because I don't care if I get it on the shirt. I do want to notice here, you might be seeing this being a little distorted. I'm filming this up close with a GoPro camera, and the GoPro cameras distort a little bit. I'll be honest, this box, you can see here's a better angle of it complete with the paints in it, and it is square. So the GoPro camera might have given you a little bit of distortion. Don't let that bother you. It's nice and square. Alright guys, as you can see, I have the completed box here on the table, and I cut the rabbets in the front and the back. And I just wanted to show you that if this box was going to be put on a table like this, and this was going to be the front, that's how it should have been done, because the pins are going in here. You can see the pins there in what would be the sides if this was the sides. But this box is going to be used this way, going into that cubby over there, where this is the front, or actually I'll probably make this the back with that. I like that little bark enclosure there. That's going to be the front. I'll make that like a little handle. So the pins should have gone in the sides. That's a design mistake. When I measured, I didn't think, and I just cut them on the wrong side. I wasn't thinking I was making a drawer. I was thinking I was making a box, and I didn't think about how the box would be situated at its end. You know, like I said, if the box was put on a shelf this way, it's right. But if I put it on the shelf this way, it's not. So that's it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day. I hope you liked this. If you did, please hit the like button. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.